There has never been a quarterback story quite like this one.
Clean pocket, shot downfield, got a man.
This wasn't random. NFL teams had concerns, real ones. Behind the scenes, the reports were consistent. Holds the ball too long, takes too many sacks, does not play on time. One longtime NFL assistant was brutally honest, said Shedeur takes unnecessary sacks, blames teammates, and simply is not that good. Others questioned his arm strength and athleticism. In a league that drafts traits over production, that is a dangerous combination. So here's the uncomfortable question. What exactly is Shedeur Sanders at the NFL level? Not an elite athlete, not a cannon arm. He exists somewhere in between, and that middle ground makes him easier to pass on. But the evaluation never stayed purely about football. With Shedeur, you were never just evaluating a quarterback. You were evaluating Deion Sanders' son. Some teams did not just see talent, they saw noise, cameras, headlines. The question inside NFL rooms got uncomfortable fast. Are you drafting a quarterback or a storyline? Then the interviews made things worse. One AFC executive said Shedeur wanted to dictate his own terms. Another called it one of the worst meetings they'd ever experienced. And before taking a single snap, he was already a brand. Multi-million-dollar NIL deals, millions of followers, financially ahead before the draft even started. Whether teams admit it or not, that changes everything. Either the NFL overthought this, or they saw something the public refused to accept. Now, let's dive into the life of Shedeur Sanders.
Say it one more time for me.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man.
No, for sure.
We're gonna take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir, let's be legendary.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Ready to go! What does that mean?
What? What'd he say?
I don't know.
Are you gonna ask us what it means and you was on the phone?
You heard that?
You said you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
It wasn't the Saints, it wasn't a GM, it was a 21-year-old college kid with a stolen phone number and a script on his lap, the son of an NFL defensive coordinator who found the contact info on an unlocked iPad at his dad's house. The Falcons were later fined $350,000 over the leak. The kid issued a public apology. None of it gave Shedeur those minutes back. And he still wasn't drafted. Round 3 came, round 4. Somewhere in a Cleveland war room, they drafted a different quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, 50 picks before they even considered Shedeur. Finally, round 5, pick 144. The camera rolls, Cleveland Browns rookie minicamp, the moment everyone's been waiting for.
You gotta come in, you gotta work hard, you gotta earn your job, earn your keep. It doesn't matter where you're taking, it matters what you do from this point forward, all right? All right? I got a coach here right now.
Yo, what's up, coach?
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir, I'm excited to see you.
Remember I told you the Lord works in mysterious ways, right?
No, for sure.
Hey, we're gonna get to work.
Yes,
I know, it's an opportunity, we're gonna get to work together, okay, buddy?
Some people think Shedeur Sanders is the steal of the decade. Others say the NFL saw right through the hype. So what's the truth? Because anonymous NFL coach said the pre-draft interview was the worst formal interview I've ever been part of. A former NFL head coach called him an embarrassment on national TV. Reddit fan pages wrote him off before he played a down in the pros. And yet, Tom Brady flew him out to Tampa to work out. Kevin Stefanski said he saw an elite quarterback. And Shedeur himself, after everything, looked a reporter dead in the eyes and said, "The wait was long, the criticism was loud, but Shedeur Sanders never flinched." Falling all the way to pick 144 wasn't part of the plan, but instead of firing back at doubters, Sanders stayed focused on his path.
You know, so a lot of people want to see me fail, and it ain't gonna happen. You know, it ain't gonna happen.
Before Shedeur ever threw a spiral, the narrative was already written. To understand where Shedeur Sanders is today, you have to understand who his father is, because in this story, you simply cannot separate the two. Deion Sanders, primetime, Neon Deion, one of the most electrifying athletes in the history of American sports, a man who homered in an MLB game and scored a touchdown in the NFL within 24 hours of each other. A two-time Super Bowl champion who played cornerback at an all-pro level while also doubling as a slot receiver. A player who set a still-standing interception return yardage record in a single season, 303 yards, on only 6 picks. A Hall of Famer, a cultural institution, a man who, in his own words, "I don't follow trends, I set trends."
I don't follow trends, I set trends. I don't follow styles, I set styles. I've never in my life looked at somebody and said, let me see what he got on soccer. No, I make you look down at yourself when you see me.
That was Deion at 22 years old entering the NFL. Cocky, loud, unbothered, and the NFL hated him for it. Veterans called him selfish. Coaches thought he was a locker room cancer. The traditionalists, the act like you've been there crowd, saw a kid who cared more about making himself the show than the game. And it wasn't just the dancing, it was the magazine covers, the cocky sound bites, the audacity to know he was great and say it.
I built this and this is my house. I don't care if I'm with the Falcons or not, this is my house and this will always be my house.
Sound familiar? Because 30 years later, his son walked into pre-draft interviews with that same energy, and the NFL wasn't ready for it again.
I can't withstand what I see sometimes, because you could measure all the measurables like you do at the combine so profoundly, but you can't measure the heart.
When Deion Sanders speaks, the football world listens. When he walks into a room, the temperature changes. And when he decided to transition from retired superstar to head coach, he did it with the same theatrics and maximum volume that defined his playing days. He took over Jackson State University in 2020, an historically black college with limited resources and almost no national profile, and turned it into must-watch television. In 2 full seasons, he went 11-2 and 12-1. He pulled the #1 overall recruit in the entire country, Travis Hunter, away from Florida State and landed him at an HBCU. Game day showed up. ESPN couldn't stay away. The donations poured in. And through all of it, his son, Shedeur Sanders, was right there under center. At Jackson State, Shedeur didn't just play, he dominated. He led the Tigers to a 23-3 record across 2 seasons. He won the Jerry Rice FCS Freshman of the Year award. He shattered expectations week after week. But critics dismissed it. The opposition wasn't Power 5, they said. Those stats don't count in the real world. He's just Deion's son getting easy reps in a watered-down league. So when Deion took the Colorado job, a Power 5 program coming off a 1-11 season, effectively a graveyard, Shedeur followed. And in Game 1 of the 2023 season against TCU, a ranked opponent, Shedeur Sanders threw for 510 yards in his first ever FBS start. He backed it up against Nebraska. He delivered again in a thriller against Colorado State. The doubters went quiet. Briefly. Because the losses came, and with the losses came the noise. Colorado's offensive line was a disaster. Shedeur took a staggering number of sacks and kept getting up. His accuracy held. His production continued. He threw for nearly 70 touchdowns across his 2 seasons in Boulder, operating behind one of the most physically overmatched units in college football. By the end of it, he'd become one of the most discussed quarterback prospects in the country. And then came the draft, and everything fell apart. The difference is, Deion had the rings to back it up before anyone could say a word. Shedeur is still trying to earn his.
And that gap, that's where the whole drama lives.
You didn't make us, so you can't break us. You ain't build us, so you can't kill us. You ain't invent us, so you can't prevent us. We are Sanders, and we are built to last.
When a reporter at Brown's minicamp asked Shedeur how he blocks all the external noise out, he gave the most honest answer in this whole story.
By doing what my dad raised me to do since I was like 5 years old. You know, I seen it. I seen what he was able to do, and I have a lot of great resources and mentors.
Think about what that actually means. From age 5, Shedeur Sanders watched his father be hated, doubted, celebrated, crowned, criticized, and walk through it all without blinking. He grew up in a household where confidence wasn't arrogance, it was required, where the cameras were always rolling, where the last name meant something before you earned it. His dad was his OC in high school. His dad recruited his receivers. His dad built the system. His dad was eventually his head coach. There was no version of Shedeur's career that wasn't going to have Deion Sanders in the frame. That's not a complaint, that's just the reality. And 4 years into his college career, Shedeur said it himself, unprompted, after a win over UCF.
I remembering that you was just an HBCU kid that couldn't do it on the Power 5 level. That's really what it was. I don't forget anything. I don't forget what anybody ever said.
He keeps receipts, just like his dad. When Shedeur chose Jackson State over Power 5 offers, the college football world had 2 reactions. The first, that's amazing. HBCUs deserve this spotlight. The second, and this one was louder, and that second take, it followed him everywhere. But let's actually look at what happened. In his first year, Shedeur won the Jerry Rice Award, the top freshman in all of FCS football, becoming the first HBCU player in history to ever receive it. Nike signed him, the first college football player Nike ever signed for NIL. In 2022, he went 29 of 32 for 323 yards and 5 touchdowns in a single game opener. In 2 seasons, a 23-3 record, 2 SWAC championships, the program's first since 2007. At Big 12 Media Day in July 2024, Shedeur was asked about his time at JSU. He leaned into the microphone and said,
I remember first media day when I was in HBCU, I said, well, we won't lose a game. I'm undefeated in the SWAC. So.
He said it like a fact, because it was. But still, the critics said, wait until Colorado, wait until Power 5, wait until real competition. And so eventually came the test everyone was waiting for. September 2nd, 2023, Colorado versus TCU. The Horned Frogs were ranked 17th in the country. Colorado had gone 1-11 the year before. After the game, Shedeur was asked how he stays focused. He fired back.
Remembering that you was just an HBCU kid that couldn't do it on the Power 5 level. That's really what it was. I don't forget anything. I don't forget what anybody ever said.
He had just gone 38 of 47 for 510 yards and 4 touchdowns against a top 20 defense, 0 interceptions. A 45-42 Colorado win that crashed the internet. The haters went quiet for about 3 weeks. Then Colorado started losing, and the narrative machine went back into overdrive. Every sack was dissected. Every incomplete pass was evidence. Every post-game press conference became a trap. And after a brutal loss to Nebraska in 2024, Shedeur stepped into one of those traps. Week 2, 2024 season. Nebraska wins. Shedeur gets sacked 5 times. Reporters swarm, and Shedeur, instead of taking it, fires back.
How many times the Rowley get touched? Whenever you're able to run the ball consistently, and then that opens up the pass, you know? But it's just like you got to understand like what your team good at.
The clip went everywhere. Reddit forums lit up. Here's an actual sample of what the comments looked like that week.
We've seen diva quarterbacks get drafted high all the time. Talent always wins out. I don't like how he threw those guys under the bus, but also that offensive line did play.
He's out of there. He will throw anybody and everybody under the bus to make him look good.
Critics blasted him everywhere. I don't even know why we're talking about this guy like he's top 5. He played in his dad's system his whole life and still takes more sacks than anyone in the country. Another comment read, "Put him behind a bad NFL line and watch that 74% completion rate become 52%. And the analysts piled on.
But Deion uses his son to get a job at Jackson State University, and then uses his son and Travis Hunter to get a job at Colorado. And Deion said, I'm Deion Sanders. I didn't have to use them. I'm one of the greatest football players of all time.
Being Deion's son and all the positives come from that, or that have been kind of shined on him, but then in the same breath say, I don't want him to be penalized for being Deion's son. We can't have it both ways. If we're gonna laud praise on him for being Deion's son and the understanding and the pedigree that Stephen A. brought up and the characteristics and how he's been molded because of his father, and those are all things that have been benefits to him and that will probably be in the NFL, we can't sit there and say, well, it's held against him as well. Because while his dad was one of the greatest ever, Shedeur's not that right now physically. He's not this remarkable, rare, unbelievable unicorn athlete.
My point is that I wouldn't want to take him at 3, right? The top 5 quarterbacks to me are like, they can carry a team, game-changing type guys, no doubt about it. Shedeur Sanders is really good. I don't know if I think he's that, right?
Shedeur Sanders might already be the most overrated player in the entire NFL. And he hasn't even played a snap.
A former NFL scout released a public breakdown saying Shedeur took 58 sacks at Jackson State before Colorado's bad O-line even entered the picture. The implication, the sack problem wasn't the line, it was him. PFF confirmed the concern differently. He was the most pressured quarterback in the nation in 2024, but some of those were on him, bailing from clean pockets, carrying scar tissue from years of getting hit. Anonymous NFL coaches were even harsher, and a GM, speaking anonymously to NBC Sports, put it most clinically. Shedeur, weeks before the draft, when asked about the noise building around him. At Brown's rookie minicamp, a reporter asks the obvious question. You're a 5th-round pick. Dillon Gabriel was drafted 2 rounds ahead of you. 4-man QB competition. How are you handling it?
I just feel like in life and everything, it's just me versus me. You know, I can't control any other decision besides that, so I just try to be my best self.
He wasn't performing that. Watch the tape. He meant it. But composure in a press conference and composure in a season are different things. And through the first 4 weeks of the 2025 Browns season, Shedeur didn't play a single snap. Joe Flacco was the starter. The team went 1-4. Offense ranked 31st in points, 27th in yards. And Shedeur, watching from the sideline, told reporters,
I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
Cue Rex Ryan, ESPN's Get Up, Monday morning, volume at 10.
Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
Fans on social media were split. Rex Ryan telling others to stop being an embarrassment is as ironic as it gets. Rex goes on the weirdest rants. Out of all the things to hit this morning, he goes after the 3rd-string Browns QB. Guess the old adage, it takes one to know one, never was applied better here. Shedeur's response to Ryan's criticism, He showed up to the next press conference. Reporters asked about Ryan's comments, and Shedeur said nothing. He mimed his answers, pointed, nodded, smiled, refused to open his mouth. Deion Sr. saw the clip on Instagram, commented 3 words, "Good one, son." However, Shedeur later became the Browns' starting QB for the rest of the 2025 season.
At Browns minicamp, one reporter laid it out to Shedeur directly. Now let's separate the receipts from the hype. Accuracy? A 74% completion rate on 477 attempts in the Big 12, third best in the entire FBS that year. PFF adjusted completion percentage 81.8%. Career college mark 71% across 4 years. That is not a scheme number. That is a quarterback who puts the ball where his receivers can catch it consistently, under pressure, in real games against real secondaries. Decision-making: 127 touchdowns, 24 interceptions over his college career, a 5.3-to-1 ratio. For context, Mahomes' college ratio was 5.2. That's not a comp, that's a calibration. The decisions were sound. Toughness: 135 sacks, 135. He got back up every time. At Browns minicamp, a reporter brought up the sacks. Shedeur acknowledged it directly, arguably the most self-aware he's been in any public setting. He knows that's the knock. He knows he held the ball too long. He knows the scar tissue is real. And at the NFL Combine in February 2025, he told reporters, "That's not excuses, that's diagnosis." Arm talent. The deep ball is real. At minicamp, a reporter told him his deep throw reminded him of former Pro Bowl QB Jeff Blake's arc. Turns out, Blake was literally Shedeur's mentor when he was learning the position. The concern that's real: his average time to throw in 2024 was 2.96 seconds, which would rank among the 5 slowest in the entire NFL. At the pro level, that's not a stat, that's a body count. Pass rushers are faster, windows are smaller, the bill comes due. And one more thing that doesn't show up in the PFF report. His entire football life, high school, JSU, Colorado, was played under one system, one voice in his ear, one name on the building. Nobody knows what the real Shedeur looks like when the playbook is someone else's and the coach isn't his father. Stefanski was supposed to be that answer, and it wasn't pretty. He sat Shedeur for 4 weeks behind a 31st ranked offense, handed the keys to Joe Flacco, and by the time Shedeur finally got his shot, the season was already half buried. Cleveland went 4-12. Stefanski was fired. Now Todd Monken gets his turn. A fresh system, no baggage, and the first coach in Shedeur's life who didn't inherit him. Year 2 is when quarterbacks either take the leap or confirm the doubts. The timing couldn't be more loaded.
Here's the truth, as honestly as it can be stated. Where the critics were right, the sack rate is real and predates Colorado. The pre-draft process was mishandled, whether through arrogance, bad advice, or a father who loves his son so much he shielded him from the cold reality of the NFL interview process. The perception problem is partly self-inflicted. Where the critics were wrong, a 74% completion rate in the Big 12 is not manufactured. 127 touchdowns versus 24 interceptions is not luck. The Johnny Unitas Award doesn't get handed to system quarterbacks. And a kid who took 135 sacks and showed up the next week for years has a mental toughness most of his critics couldn't locate with a map. What nobody knows yet is whether the mechanics can be cleaned up, whether the pocket panic fades when the playbook is his own, whether walking out from under Deion's shadow for the first time in his entire football life reveals something special or exposes 8 games, 7 starts, 2 wins, 4 losses, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Still holding the ball, still taking hits, still getting up.
Shedeur finished the 2025 season by being selected to the Pro Bowl as a replacement for Drake May, who could not participate because the New England Patriots were in Super Bowl LX50. At the very end of rookie minicamp, a reporter asked him how he approaches every challenge in his career. He leaned forward and said it plain.
Everything in life, in any aspect, is going to be a challenge. So it's just, are you going to be the one to overcome the challenge, or are you going to let the challenge get you? So that's how I attack it, and I just want to always look.
Deion danced into end zones in gold chains because nobody told him he couldn't. Shedeur's been told, by coaches, by scouts, by Reddit, by Rex Ryan on national television, exactly what he can't. The question is what he does next. Because whatever that is, you're going to watch. Because 5 years from now, this draft will look like one of two things: the moment the NFL completely missed, or the moment it quietly got it right. Either way, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback anymore. He's a test case, and the answer is still coming.